This is Mark's Watch from Making the Cut. On Sunday night, Floyd Mayweather had an exhibition with Logan Paul, a YouTuber who's now deciding to fancy himself as a boxer. And Floyd got a lot of criticism for taking the fight. And oh my gosh, why don't you just go away? And you have Mayweather Promotions, and everyone dislikes you. Blah blah blah. But as Coppinger from The Athletic reported, there was over 1 million pay-per-view buys for that exhibition. And that shows you just the power that Floyd Mayweather still has, that he can still attract people to the pay-per-view wing, even though he's done actively fighting. The bigger message to take away from this is how much smarter the fighter is today, the superstar fighter is today, than a generation ago or 2 generations ago. Look, exhibitions aren't new. Muhammad Ali fought exhibitions. So for the people saying, Floyd, this, that, Ali, from the alleged golden era of boxing, he fought exhibitions also. So in that sense, it's not new. What is new is how this generation of fighters have decided to leverage every bit of power that they have, which when you look at fighters from 2 generations ago, they didn't. Let's not glorify that era. A lot of those fighters died broken from a financial point of view, broken from a physical point of view, broken from a mental health point of view. Those guys that we seem to glorify, no one cared about what they did once the days of the ring was over. A lot of them died penniless. This generation, for the superstars, they're not doing that. Oscar De La Hoya built off really of what Sugar Ray Leonard started. Leonard is really the first one who leveraged being the A side. And though he didn't get into the big business that Oscar ended up doing with Golden Boy Promotions, the business acumen really started with Sugar Ray Leonard. Let's not get it twisted. Guys like Oscar De La Hoya, Floyd Mayweather, Canelo Alvarez have built on top of what Sugar Ray started. Oscar De La Hoya with Golden Boy Promotions. You have Floyd, who has his own promotion wing, and like I said, still doing these exhibitions. All of these, and think about it, in Floyd's case, Floyd gets not a penny from advertisement because, advertisers find him toxic, especially with his past with domestic violence, even though there are other athletes who have domestic violence in their past, i.e., Sugar Ray Leonard, who have still been able to capitalize on ads and endorsements. Canelo Alvarez also, as you see with his deal with the Zone and getting out of Golden Boy Promotions contract, that again, from a business perspective, they are thinking more long term. And I'll be frank with you, I don't have a problem with it. Am I a big exhibition and have fighters fighting MMA guys or fighting YouTubers and stuff? Nah, I mean that doesn't excite me. Do I understand why? Yes. And for all the MMA fans who keep on saying, "Oh, boxing died for the millionth time. Boxing is dying for the millionth time. Boxing isn't going anywhere," and this idea that they are going anywhere, it's not. Boxing is an event sport, and their big event guys are always going to draw to the pay-per-view numbers. Case in point, wait until Spence fights Manny Pacquiao. Those numbers are going to be off the charts. Off the charts. MMA is not sending boxing anywhere. So stop. Stop with that. Second, and I can understand from a consumer perspective, people keep on talking about, well, they need to put more free fights on air, on network TV. Let me ask you a question. What does that do for horse racing? Is that attracting new fans, or is that just your old core fans being able to watch a fight that they don't have to pay for? I'm just not sure if boxing benefits that much if you put more fights on on-air networks. And I'll be frank with you, I'm not sure if on-air networks want more fights, because I don't know if they feel like, from an advertising dollars perspective, if it's worth it. So what fights are you putting on there? You're not going to get the same fights that we got, we meaning my age, where yes, Ali Spinks was on air. Yes, Larry Holmes, Carla Truth Williams was on air. For the fights that was big, like Hearns Leonard won, those were closed circuit. I can remember my family, my uncles and them going to racetrack to watch those fights closed circuit, and those fights were few far between. Yes, do I think there are some cards that aren't quote unquote pay-per-view worthy? Absolutely. But we also live in an era where all federal major sports had pay-per-view wings, whether it's the NFL Sunday Ticket or the Major League Baseball extra innings package. Pay-per-view is not going anywhere. When the Zone said they were going to kill pay-per-view, that was a lie. It's not going anywhere. People have gotten used to, consumer have gotten used to paying for things that used to be free. And so this idea that pay-per-view boxing is going anywhere is crazy. Yes, you can always argue there could be less fights on pay-per-view. But the idea that it's going away, no. The Zone was never going to put it, no one's ever going to put it away. I don't care how much of a niche sport that boxing is. So when I go back to the Floyd Mayweather, Logan Paul exhibition, I will say this. Hey man, get the money while it's out there, because I don't want to see this generation of boxers end up broke, penniless, with mental health problems and all kinds of physical hurdles as I watch my generation of boxers ended up dying with.